SuperCoaches rejoice. It was a much better week for my squad. I was sitting near the 55,000 mark there, and I basically halved my rank into 28,012. So barely scraping together 1,000 last week for our first one of the year, up to 1,177. Much better compared to, I was looking back at last year's scores, and I got into the sort of the top 5K very quickly and down to sort of 2K and moved, improved. But I was getting scores of 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 sometimes across the first couple of months. So this was a great start into those types of scores again now. So very happy with the 1177 this week. There were still a few mistakes, and we'll discuss them shortly, but the trade-in of Eli Katoa was awesome. The trade-in of Blaze Talangi, yes, it earned us some cash, but I played him over Ethan Strange. So that was the slightly annoying one for the week, but a 12.654 million team value. We'll get into that in a second when we go through the rankings there of everyone and discuss things accordingly. But into the top 19%, with a total score just under 5,000, and hopefully another good week sees us get closer to the 15K, 10K mark, and we can continue to drop down from there. Using 9 trades so far, so 1 first week, boost, so 3 to make 7, and then 2 last week, so 9 there. Probably about the normal, I'd say. A couple of boosts being used. Some have used 3, some have used 4. Some people didn't trade in the first one, but have used a couple of boosts since. So yeah, everyone's a little bit all over the shop at the moment with those decisions. But let's go through my squad now. And Api Coruscant with the 60, which was nice, but sees a goal kicked in the end. So hopefully Coruscant can take that back. And if he doesn't, that's a very frustrating situation that we find ourselves in with Api at this point. But it's a clear hold for now. Lussick losing money now, so that's just turned out to be a bit of a shocker. If I just could have just held and not used any trades in the hooking position, I'd have Brandon Smith and Levi, with Brandon Smith getting a couple of decent scores the last few weeks, and just dealing with that, really getting a 60 odd and a 40 odd for Brandon would have just been fine and not had to use any trades. So that's an interesting one that people are using the fullback roulette. Some people are doing it in the hooker, which I've done a little bit. Some people have had to do it in front row forward, and we all make these types of mistakes along the way. But we weren't to know that Lussick would just fall off a cliff and not even hit a 40 in his last 3 weeks. So yeah, didn't expect that, but it is what it is sometimes. He's still made money, but he's going down now. And Api, that's sort of probably the last up that he'll make now that he's got a couple of lower scores in his rolling average. Move to the front row forward. I'm very happy with Tavir Totola. Obviously got Liam Henry with the neg 1. So he's an interesting one now that he'll have a higher break even, which I'll just pop that up there with SC+. He's got a 52 break even now. So I do think that his money making obviously slows down over the next few weeks. And he's an interesting type of player that I think is a hold or a sell. Like either way is completely fine with him. As to what you do, given he's up at the 330 odd, 337K, he's made a decent amount for us who started with him at 98,000, and you could just take that and move on. He's not likely to be someone that's going to come out and hit it like a 60 average or something like that, especially coming off the bench here with when they're full strength. He's going to be somewhere around that 40 mark, you'd imagine. So at a price like this, 40s, you're not going to make too much money from that. So if you did want to sell him, I may look to do that. You've obviously got Curran now with the front row forward duel. Very, very interesting situation happening at the moment with the SuperCoach NRL Facebook posted that Curran was going to be getting dual, and it's absolutely opened up a can of worms, which is pretty wild how that's ended up, because guys, especially comparing this to fantasy has the mid and the edge positions rather than front row forward and 2RF. 2RF includes locks, which are a middle. So strange how that's exactly the way that they've played it, because it opens up a can of worms with guys like Josh King and Maddo. Apparently Josh King's getting the dual, but he's been a front row forward or a lock and is a second row forward and has been for a few years now. Whereas Josh Curran off the bench is completely fine. They're completely fine to give him front row forward, but not Maddo. So yeah, it's showing that the players that are very, I suppose, popular, they're getting getting their way with the front row forward, but then the ones that aren't as popular, and Josh King not getting that way. So it's a interesting situation at the moment, that's for sure. But really up with Totola's 57, got the buy in round 7. We'll work him out as we go, and hopefully Terrell May gets back to some decent minutes because he, 21 in 20 minutes was good. Sam Hughes gets some cash generation from him, and we might have to play him this week. We'll see how we go. I'm definitely playing him over Joey Lussick at the moment. Wow. Eli Katoa, as I say, good trade in. My 2RF position, I'm very happy with. My lowest score in there was 50 out of 5 players, and I played all of them, so that was great. Hopefully that's more of what to come. I'm a little bit worried about Beau Fermor, but he did look way better on the weekend, and they actually used him. Did play a lot of centre, so he was sort of 20-odd at halftime, and then moved to the centres just before halftime there, and was in a low position, but until he got some good stats at the back end and a lovely line break into a try after he got it back from his winger. So he was good, and starts his money making, which is nice. He's up 21k now from last week after being down 10 overall. Smitty's played the full 80, good stuff from there. I suppose the only interesting thing now in the 2RF is the fact that Angus Crichton becomes more of an option, and we might have to work around that and see how things play out as if we can try and get him in our side. So we'll find that out. But Hutcho had to play him for his 34. We switched that straight back to Nicho Hynes and popped the C on him. So happy days. I had Val Holmes as captain this week. I got scared and didn't do the loop because of Henry's -1. Turns out it probably worked out about the same because I don't think I would have reserved Smithies then, and I would have lost sort of 20-odd points from that. So actually 30 points with Lussick's 38. So, would have lost 30 points from the reserve and then an extra 24 from the captaincy. So it wouldn't have worked out anyway. So 93 with Holmes was great, but we'll put Nicho Hynes into the captaincy. I think Holmes is going to be vice captain this week. He plays just before the Sharkies there, which is cool. Or we could go Newcastle with Ponga as vice on the Thursday night game against the Roosters, who are pretty banged up. That could be a pretty solid shout, but I imagine they've got some things to sort out as well. So Ponga could be an easy one. I don't have to make. Hopefully, we have an update in his score by that point as well. He's been so dominant. He could just be a great vice captaincy option. So we'll sit that one there. But great fullback scoring from Ponga and Turbo in that one. Hutcho's 34. Dylan Brown, he's a frustrating one at 55 right now. Not happy at all with the situation that he's put us in. He's down, 140k now, averaging 54.2. Not great. Can't wait for Galvin to come back. We'll see what we're doing with Brown next week. This week, he could be a sell. An interesting one to try and get like a Joey Manu or something like that. But we'll work that out very shortly. I would still like to, being ranked 28k, try and move into some higher ranks and then conserve some trades later, because it's obviously hard to go really well if you're starting this far back and you've got guys that are just hemorrhaging cash. So that's what we're thinking at the moment. Brown might be a sell, but not great so far. Happy with Holmes. Zach Labart, the poor fella, great try, and then he's done his ACL. So very sad times. He has to be moved out from the side. Ethan Strange, we missed out on playing him, but a great price rise. Trebojevic got that rise as well, same as Talangi. So that's all good news. Strange will be playing this week up against the Titans. That's for sure. We'll work out what we're doing with Labart. There's obviously the cheap options. If Schiller maintains his spot in the team, he's the cash grab of the week. And could be, definitely is going to be playable against the Titans. That's for sure. We'll have to see what's happening with Albert Hopewadi with his burn. And, Schiller might have just earned that spot in the side. Like, he's done great. So Hopewadi was the, first choice before, but we'll see what happens with that one from here. And Blaze Talangi 30, Taylor May 38, not great, but he's down at 414k now. So a 33k drop this week. He hasn't even scored a try this year. So surely he eventually gets to that point where he does score a try and can be worth it in our side. So I think he's going to be likely our looper this week. If we move him along there, Blaze Talangi probably, not the play. And we'll have to do something with Labart. So if we went him up to Hughes, it sits us at just under 1,100 in our potential scoring this week. We'll work out what we're doing with Henry. There's a few things to definitely think about there in that one. So let's go to rankings first, guys, just so you can get you an idea of where people are at with their team value. I'm at 12.6. I think, I'm not sure. I don't believe in SuperCoach it shows the how much bank these guys have got, because they're at 12.167 into 5th overall is Dean, but then 12.9 for Matt in 4th. Let's just look at Dean's team at the moment. He's got a lot of guys not making money. Harris Tavita, De Groot, Gagai, McKaylee, Humphreys, Gaia. Yeah, wow. Okay, so he's actually just not making money, and maybe a little bit in the bank, but wow, an incredible score this week, 1356. It just shows, guys, that you can just load up your team and have cheapies, all the rest, and yeah, he's going to fall off a cliff eventually because we're going to build up our teams to be better than these types of guys, just because he hasn't got the price. He hasn't got the price rises going. Whereas this fella, Ducks Doozies, he's still got a couple of guys that aren't making money. Obviously, Stewart, Gagai, Chan there, Vil Fafita, but the rest of the team's doing really well and in a good position. Obviously, having Lomax, Holmes, all these type of guys. Even had Teddy this week and still did really well with 1191. So yeah, just a general idea of where some team values are. You've got guys down here in the back end of the top 100 that are in the 12 threes, 13 mil. So in terms of cash generation, I'm still doing pretty well. Up there with the pack for the most part at 12 mil, 650,000. But just thought that was interesting to show as well. Let's go to our leagues. End up with the updates, lost by 1 in that public league. So tough times there for sure. In my private group, bit of an improvement, 18th out of 69. So not super ideal overall. Let's go to my NRL community first to chat about what's going on in there. We've got Nathan up top, 1234. He's into 1369 overall rank, tied with Josh. We forgot about it. Where'd my boy Josh go? 1162. He's 8,600 overall. Not too bad. And then I'm down in 50th. So yeah, shout out to you guys in that top section. Let's go to the Podmasters. So I'm into the top half of beers and break evens. That's a win. Podmasters. Oh, I'm still in the back half. 52 out of 97. So yeah, an incredible week by Savs. 1368. That's wild. Alex there, 421st overall. Ryan from Fins and Tins having a good one at 487 with a 1311. There's a lot of big scores up here. The 1200s, if they went up massive ranks. You see here, a 1269 moved him from 10,000 overall to 1,700. Big one from Ryan from 15,000 into 2,800. Yeah, so some cool ones there. Scroll down the list. Tim had Mr. Kuma Staines had 1231, so it's a good score there. He moved up a lot of rankings. So 1231 got him from 27,000, all the way to 7,600. So just 1 week away, guys, from going nuts and making big moves there, that's for sure. Brian, NRL Physio, he's in the top 10K. Guru went up a little bit, so 12,900, still a decent situation there. Where am I? 52, hey? So yeah, into that. A good score this week moved me up a lot. Congrats to Rando here. Went from 70,000 into the 25,000 mark. So yeah, there's a couple of poor fellas in some tough spots. Scoop ended up with a tough score there, 963, up to almost 50,000. So not good on that front. Adrian in there, yeah, not good. And then yeah, Whisperer 943. It's tough going out here sometimes. You got Wilfred Z, who won 2016. He's got 1,039, struggling as well. So it's definitely not easy to go well on a week-to-week basis. And if you get unlucky with HOAs and injuries and the like there, obviously Dom Young having an absolute mare with his situation there, it's not great overall. So yeah, sometimes you fall into a bit of luck. You got Brain Ball there, Nath at 55k. Sometimes you get it a little bit lucky, and sometimes you don't, and that's how it goes. Matty the Waterboy, 1,027, he's struggling a little bit as well. Obviously, if you got anywhere near 1,200, you were good this week. If you got 1,000 or less, you got absolutely smashed. So that's the situation we find ourselves in. General thoughts on trades. If Schiller is named, I'll probably take the cash grab, to be honest with you there, and it's going to allow me to potentially move upwards to another gun. Center wing, maybe get Crichton as well for either Joe Chan or Liam Henry. Move Josh Curran up from 2RF to front row forward to potentially get Crichton, which I think will be cool. That will be trading out Liam Henry, as I said. Potentially Dylan Brown goes up that bit to Joey Manu. Could potentially be the way I go for it and really bolster up the center wing. Put Strange in 5/8 and have Galvin coming back in round 7 to have Strange and Galvin. I think that's fair at this point. The front, the 5/8 position Strange is the way to go in Galvin at the moment. And then Plath, when he comes back as well, will be solid too. So yeah, that's the situation at the moment with my squad. Let's move to the head-to-head team now. Head-to-head team had some good things happen to it and had some pretty average decisions in there as well. 1,087 did help us improve a little bit into 32,000. So yeah, solid overall. Currently sitting with 36 trades. I've mucked around with the trade so far in that one, but a team value of 12,425,000. I'm not sure if that changes with the amount of cash in the bank at 100 in that one there, but I was just mucking around with Satilli going straight to Crichton. So I end up holding Satilli, guys. Bit different to what we spoke about in the trades video. Let's just undo that one now, just so we can get back to where we were. So didn't end up playing Smithies. That was tough. Had Flegler's injury. Played Lussick over Smithies, just to be a little bit different in my team. I did end up trading Brooks to Johnson. So that was the play I ended up doing. It would have been Tupanua to Curran, which I didn't do. So it ended up being Brooks to Johnson. And that worked out, obviously. SJ having an absolute blinder. That's for sure. Probably would have been better just trading Brown to Johnson and going Brooks down to 5/8. But you live and you learn. And we end up copping a few issues this week, apart from Drinky as captain, a U-Beauty. That worked out great. I was trying to actually loop Johnson. And good thing I didn't, to be honest with you. Actually, what would be my next score? Talangi. I would have probably I wouldn't have played Lussick. I would have got 38 for him as the extra. So yeah, I would have got his score anyway, but I wouldn't have got the extra 32 points that Drink would have got. So that worked out well in the end, not looping. Having Bostock's 50 was really solid. The line break try assist. Latrell's going to have to be out of the side. I have Laybut, who's gone, and Satilli Tupanua, I think he should get dropped, and it sounds like he probably will. So Tupanua likely to go straight to Crichton. At this point, we'll be playing Smithies. Lane's 37 was frustrating. As I said, SJ was good. I've got Drinkwater 144. Latrell was solid 73. Appy was 60. Copped it with Flegler. Olakawatu 76 was good. And yeah, I suppose that didn't play Strange either. Should have I differentiated with the Smithies and Lussick. Should have differentiated at least once with Talangi to Strange in one of the two teams. So that was a mistake. I was just as the game was starting, I was like, you watch, I'm not playing Strange in either team. Fantasy as well. Watch him come out and kill it. And that line break early, and then that couple of try assists was just wild. So when we're looking at my team here, I do think that Lane obviously gets another crack in the team. It's not looking good for him at the moment, averaging 47. Good last week, not so much since then, just in base. And so Tupanua has to go, Laybut has to go, and then Latrell has to go. So whether we look at getting Turbo into the side, whether we look at getting Ponga into the side, what we do with Laybut and the center situation, we'll be holding Brown in this team, especially if I go and trade him out. In my squad, I just have a little bit more of an issue with, obviously Tupanua having a shocker, and then a couple of issues with Latrell, and then Laybut as well. So 2 extra issues compared to my team with just Laybut as the shocker, and then potentially Flegler not playing this week. We'll have to see how he goes. Do they give him a week rest? Yeah, a good chance, I suppose, at that point. And then we'd have to play Husey, which would be fine. So yeah, overall, not the worst situation that we're at in there. I did cop an absolute hiding in the back end of this one. I think the Dan here had a lot of the Raiders players, like he had Schiller and Savage and stuff that went nuts. So yeah, I was in a position to win that and lost, and then end up winning in the second one, which was cool. 1,087, still in 14th position, but good news there is I after the 3 shockers where I lost both first 3 rounds, one in round 4 in the other in that first one, and then won the last 2 in the second one. So yeah, getting myself into a much better position. We're still probably gonna have to do a heavy amount of trading over the next few weeks just to get things right, get ourselves making some money, and then we'll when we only need 13 on the park in round 13, 16, 19. When we're still playing our head-to-head matchups, I will be very lacking in trading, that's for sure. And just make sure that I'm good for the finals. Obviously need to make the finals, and that's what this start is going to be for. And then I'll start to slow down with my trades eventually here. So we'll work out if it's a double trade or a triple. Obviously with the Latrell, Laybut, and Satilli, they're 3 easy trade outs. So we'll see what works out if we actually need to make 3, but it might be the case if we want to get to Ponga, we'll have to go Laybutt down to Ashilla or something like that if he plays. And then Satili's going to go to Crichton, start making some money and some good scores with Angus, and we'll go from there. So that's the head-to-head team. That's the situation. Let me know your thoughts around the squads, and maybe something that you might look to do if you were in charge of them. And wish you guys luck heading into team list tomorrow, and have a cracking week, guys. Enjoy it.